Here's a little behind the scenes of me recording my podcast. So, at first, it's going to be quiet because I'm going to hit the button on my pod track to play my intro. And then, once my intro is done recording, then I will start talking. Hey, Queens, welcome back to Captivation Radio. Today, we're going to talk about letting go, which is super fitting for the end of the year, right? But don't worry if you're listening to this at a different time. It is still relevant because we always have things we need to let go of, not just at the end of the week or the end of the year, end of the month, whatever. All the time, we need to be letting go of things. And doing so is so necessary if you want to make room for new and better things in your life, which I assume you do, or you wouldn't listen to me every week, right? And I think we all know by now we cannot accept the new while holding on to the old. Life just does not work that way. And so the first thing we really have to do is figure out what it is we need to let go of. And I'm going to give you like a super long list of things here. And you can find the list on captivationradio.com on this week's episode, which is going to be cord cutting and other methods of letting go. And it'll be the first one that pops up, so you'll see it. So let's start the list here. Number 1, old beliefs which no longer serve us. Number 2, negative memories of failed relationships. Number 3, goals we have outgrown. Number 4, dwelling on mistakes. Number 5, people who do not respect our boundaries. Number 6, people who suck all of the energy out of you. Number 7, bad habits that keep you from reaching your goals. Number 8, the fear of change. Number 9, the weight of other people's expectations. Number 10, basing your value off of social media. Number 11, anything that is 100%, that is not 100% authentically you. Number 12, needless worry. Number 13, blaming the algorithm for your struggles. Number 14, anyone else's idea of what your life should look like. And number 15, perfectionism. Number 16, insisting on being comfortable. Number 17, excuses. All the excuses. And number 18, disorganization. Number 19, holding your emotions in. Number 20, taking everything personally. And then for 21 and on, just add anything in here you know is holding you back from success. Besides blocking yourself from receiving new and better things, holding on to the past and the weight of people's expectations and all these things, it's exhausting, right? A lot of these things lead to what are called energy leaks, which I'm not going to get super deep into that today, but it's basically what it sounds like. Energy leaking somewhere, like a dripping faucet, and it leads to you being burnt out and exhausted. And a lot of that goes back to the things we're going to talk about letting go of today. If you want me to go deeper into what energy leaks are and how to stop them, then just let me know and we can do an episode about that too. So the first method of letting go that I want to talk about today is called cord cutting. In life, we encounter many different people: family, coworkers, lovers, exes, even characters on TV. We can form energetic connections to them and they can to us. And if we never sever any of these ties, it can become incredibly draining on us. You can cut cords to eliminate the negative energy coming from them, or you can just cut cords completely. And this doesn't mean the relationship necessarily ends, it just cuts the current energy exchange between the two of you. And some people do this practice daily, even with people that they dearly love. And other people only use it with people they don't wish to have in their lives anymore, or when the energy has become especially negative and they need to cut it off. As with everything I teach, please adapt it to what works for you. Only take what resonates and leave the rest. There are many different ways to perform this meditation, and I'm going to teach you my version. If you look on YouTube, Google, there's a lot of different versions. Like Gabby Bernstein has a meditation and she calls in archangels and stuff. I'm not going to do all that, but if that's the way you want to do it, then you can look up some other ones. So for my exercise, we're going to say you have an ex named Brad, because we already agreed that most of the Brads suck, right? So let's pretend you were dating Brad and now you left him, but every time you start feeling happy in your life, he keeps popping back up. Chances are you and Brad still have a cord between the two of you, an energetic connection that needs to be cut off. So that's what we're going to do. The first thing you want to do is find a quiet space. And I think that the shower or the bath works great, because when you're done, you can imagine all that yuck energy going right down the drain. Then you are going to visualize Brad, and you're going to visualize a cord coming between the two of you. And if this was a long or very serious relationship or very passionate, this cord can be really thick, but you can imagine it however you want. You can imagine a string, you can imagine a giant cord, like a cord wrapped around cords, whatever you want it to look like. It can be whatever material, whatever color, just whatever works for your imagination. And then next, you are going to imagine your chosen cutting apparatus. And here again, the sky's the limit. You can imagine scissors of any size, you can imagine those giant ribbon cutting scissors, or a sword, an axe, whatever works for you. It'll probably depend on how thick the cord is that you need to cut and how passionately you want to cut it. If I'm super over a connection or somebody's driving me really crazy, then I'm just going to imagine an axe and you just chop it in half. So after you figure out what you want to cut it with, and you can picture the cord between the two of you, then imagine cutting the cord. You can imagine chopping it into pieces if you need to, whatever works for you. Then I call back all of my energy to me and release whatever energy is not mine. It's pretty simple, just I call back all of my energy, I release energy that does not belong to me. And if it's a cord I've had to cut numerous times, you also might want to say something regarding not allowing people to connect to without your permission, kind of like a force field. I do not grant anyone permission to create a cord between us without my permission. Or whatever, you can, again, as with everything, you can say whatever you want, whatever works for you. There's no specific, like, certain way that you have to say your words in order for it to work. That's not how it works. And then my second method is journaling. Can you tell I'm kind of obsessed with journaling? Journaling is a great way to get your feelings out and understand what you want and what's no longer serving you. But the key here, you have to be completely open and honest. Do not censor yourself or write what you think you should. A great way to do this is to ask yourself a specific question, set a timer for 5 minutes, write everything that comes to mind. These are called brain dump journaling. And so you don't think at all. You just write until the timer goes off, whatever it comes to your mind regarding the question. If you don't know what the question is, sometimes you can just write anything that pops into your head. And then when you're done writing, you will generally see a theme and be able to determine what you need to let go of in order to move ahead. And this is the tough part. Every time you're ready to level up, there will be something you have to let go of. Every single time. It may be other people's expectations. It might be your own expectations of what you thought your life would look like. Or it could be any of the topics I listed when we first started today. But trust me, there is always something there that you need to let go of. Another great method for letting go is working out. Working out is a fantastic way to get rid of the negative energy and just clear your mind so you can focus better. It's especially helpful if you have an overactive mind like me. It's nearly impossible for me to sit and meditate during the day. I can, however, blast my music and lift weights and completely clear all the junk from my mind. Most of my best ideas come while I'm working out or shortly after when I have that total relaxed feeling from doing so. And it's totally okay if you need a distraction in order to have your best thoughts. Don't feel like you should be able to sit silently and meditate if you can't. There's no one right way to do anything. You should always do what works best for you. If you are extremely angry one day, med ball slams are incredibly good for this. Especially if there's a certain person, you can just imagine throwing them on the ground over and over again. And we all hate burpees, I think. We can agree on that. So they're a great way to distract your mind because while you're thinking about how much you hate doing them, you will not be thinking about whatever it is that is stressing you out. Like, let's just say you just had a conversation and it just left you in a weird headspace. Like, you don't know what the person was thinking on the other end. You don't feel heard. Somebody said something that upset you. Like, whatever it is, I promise you, if you do some burpees, you will start thinking about that instead. And then maybe when you're done, you will have a better energy overall and be able to process things better. And the next method is yoga and breath work. So if you're a more chill person than me, you can start with yoga and breath work. They're a great way to connect to your body and let go of everything that doesn't serve you. And yoga is also a great way to remember that you can be strong and flexible at the same time. As you breathe and flow into new positions, you can restore your inner power and subconsciously or consciously let go of all that unwanted energy. And the last method is talking it out. So humans are incredibly social creatures. Yes, even you introverts. Sometimes we really need to speak out loud to another person in order to have a breakthrough. If you're stressed out or struggling with letting go, try talking to someone you trust, a friend, a therapist, a coach, whatever it is for you. Explain the situation and what's going on, and see if they can determine what it is you're holding on to that's standing in your way. Often our friends and loved ones can see what we need to let go of before we can, and they would be more than happy to be granted the opportunity to tell us all about it. Other times, you may have an epiphany just by discussing your situation out loud. There's something about vocalizing our problems that make them so much clearer. And the most important thing I want you to remember is everything which is not serving you that you're willing to let go of will always be replaced with something better. Always. If something is not serving you, make a choice to let it go and let the good flow in to replace it. Just make space for the things you truly want and let go of everything holding you back. One of the biggest problems I see is we get so attached to what we think things should look like and what we think things should feel like what this relationship should be like, what my career should be like, what my children should be like, what my familial relationships should be like, what I should look like each day. All of these things, we get so wrapped up in these ideas, we get so attached to them that it holds us back from where we're really meant to be. Because I promise you, the ideas that you have in your mind are much smaller than the ideas that the universe has for you. So if you can learn how to stop being so attached and learn how to let go, you are going to receive more abundance than you ever imagined. I love you all. I hope that this episode helps you let go of some things before the new year starts. Message me, tell me all about your goals for the new year. New Year is like my favorite time of the year. I can't wait to hear all about everything you guys have going on. So DM me, tag me in your stories, all the things, and I will be back next week. We are going to talk about setting those boundaries and getting into routines so we can really knock these goals out this year. All right, bye.